What's going on, people? Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button down there and ring the notification bell so you know when I upload new videos. It's good to be back in the studio. I've been laid up for about 2.5 weeks now. I had surgery on my Achilles, and I've got a long way to go with it. I still got the soft cast and splint on that you may have seen in other videos that I did. It's a 6-month healing process for the surgery that I had, but I finally felt good enough to get my way into the studio so I could make some content for my channel, and I miss it. I really miss coming in here and making videos. But anyways, today I want to talk about the Xbox Series X. I've had it now since the release date. Mine was delivered. I bought it through Walmart, and it was delivered on the beginning date for the Xbox Series X. And so I've played a few games on it. I've been playing Gears 5. I actually played through the campaign and beat it. Pretty short campaign, but I'll tell you what, it's a great game. If you haven't played Gears 5 or you haven't finished it, it's a really good one. Check it out, or finish it if you haven't. Short campaign. It didn't take me that long to beat it, and I did a lot of the side quests in it. I didn't do all of them. But the main campaign, I went right through and I beat it. But the game looked absolutely beautiful on the Xbox Series X. I really noticed no frame drops in it at all. Now on mine it was playing at 4K 60 frames per second. I was trying to get it at 120 frames per second, but for some reason it's got it in the menu that it says that you can change between 60 and 120. But the 120 wasn't available on my menu. Now my TV is optimized for 4K 120 frames per second, and I have been playing that on other games. But for some reason Gears 5 only let me play at 60 frames per second, but smooth as silk. Like I said, I really noticed I had no freeze ups. Like I was watching other people after I got done with it. I went on and was watching some other gameplay from other gamers on the Xbox One X. And man, when you get into heavy battle, you'd see some frame drops, and it would kind of freeze up and then keep going. None of that, not a second of it on the Xbox Series X, which was fantastic. It was a great experience playing that game on there. I've also been playing Ori Will of the Wisp, I think. Yeah. Also a beautiful game. That's a pretty hard game. But I'm into that and playing that. Absolutely beautiful. It's running at 120 frames per second. Super smooth. And like I said, just an absolutely beautiful game. Looking forward to some of those new games to come out next year. On some games that are made specifically for the new systems. So yeah, I can't wait for that. Can't wait for Cyberpunk. I'm gonna be putting out another video shortly of some Cyberpunk videos. But today I just wanted to talk about my experience with the Xbox Series X. Little different setting it up. You have to set it up. It prompts you right away to use your smartphone to download the app, and you use the app on your phone to set up your Xbox Series X. I'm sure it's the same for the Series S. And it went very smooth doing it that way. A little different though, a little different for sure. The controller, I got it right here. I don't have the system in here because I have a 720p TV in here. This TV I've had for a little bit. It's something that I just put in here to watch stuff while I was working at my desk here, and but I've been using it to game on too. I used it mainly before to play retro games, NES, Super NES, stuff like that. So I didn't really need a big high quality, high resolution TV, but it still has a great picture on it. It really does. It's a TCL, great picture on it. But anyways, I'm probably not going to bring it in here. I'm waiting for them to do the update. I'm pretty sure they're going to do an update so that you can live stream from your Xbox Series X on YouTube. Right now, I think you can only do it on Twitch. and I don't do Twitch, so but I would really like to do some live streams on YouTube. I think it would be great. But anyways, um, the controller. You know, people are, oh, yeah, they didn't really change their. Why would you change the controller? I mean, the changes they did make to it are great, absolutely fantastic. I love the grip that they put standard on here now. I know you can get it on other controllers. I have it on I have it on this. It's not this one. Which one do I have it on? I have it on. I have another controller. It's in there. It's the Cyberpunk 2077 controller. Has the grip on it. And if you build your own controllers, you can add the grip to it. But having it standard on the controllers is, you know, they should have been doing that for a while now. I love the triggers, the new design triggers. People are saying, "Oh, the triggers are not the same." This is Project Scorpio controller. This is my Project Scorpio controller right here. If I can get it to focus, there it is. As you can see, look at the triggers. See how pointed the bottom is? Okay. And then here's the new controller. I can get it to focus in. All right, see how they flattened it off? For me, that's fantastic because I have a little bit bigger hands, and when I'm clicking the trigger, I don't know if you can see here. If I have my finger, I can get the focus. If I have my finger just on the trigger and I'm playing, I often hit the bumper, the right or left bumper, and it'll screw up the game sometimes. So I have to ride my fingers low on the trigger, and I'm right on that point, right on that pointy part. And after a while playing, that starts to kind of dig into you. See, I've already got a little dent. It already starts. It starts to kind of dig into my finger a little bit. On the new controller, they've flattened it off, so it makes it a lot better, And I like the grip. They put the grip on the trigger as well. So that's another thing I like about it. One thing I didn't like is that they changed the cover on the battery, because I have several of these rechargeable type batteries around, but they won't fit because the cover will not snap in to the controller. They've changed the tabs on the cover. It's the same size cover, but they changed the tabs on it so they don't snap in. But if you're like me, I like to have my keypad on my controllers. If I have to go and type stuff in, I can do it on the keypad without having to go around and move the cursor around and hit the buttons. First thing I did was put it on, and as you can see, it fits the new controller perfectly fine. It fits right on it, no problems. And when I actually clicked it on to this controller before I set the Xbox Series X up, and when it came to setting up the controller, just like always, it downloads it has to update the software for the controller, and then it updated the software for my keypad right after that. So automatically it updated the software for it. It was already set up for it. So fantastic. It works perfectly fine on here, no problems. So anyways, like I said, people are like, oh, it's the same controller. Well, Xbox makes arguably the best controller ever made for a gaming system, and out of every gaming system ever made, starting, back at Atari, where they're known for being problematic, the joysticks, the NES, man, if you were like me and you played the hell out of the NES when you were young, you know what blisters on your thumb is, for sure. The PlayStation, great system. I've never cared for the controllers. They are always kind of short, stumpy. I like the offset sticks on here. To me, that the offset, they need to be offset. It's perfect. The way these controllers fit in your hand, it's just so comfortable. It's just rounded, fits right in your palms. Everything falls right into place. If you're making arguably the best controller ever made for a console, you do not change the design of the controller. The design of the controller. In fact, if you notice, PS5's new controller, they're starting to they're starting to make it look. If you look at it head on like this, and just change the sticks to side by side, I mean, they're definitely bringing it more to the design of the Xbox controller because it's the best controller ever made, and I'll argue up and down about that. The best controller for a gaming system. When people play on PC and they're using a controller, they use an Xbox controller. So, best controller ever made. Glad they didn't change the design of it. I love the small things they changed. I like that they changed the D-pad to this more cupped design. Feels nice if you're just resting your thumb on there and moving it around. The share button, it's fine. It's something that even when I do something, I forget to hit it. And if I do, I'm probably never going to share it anywhere. Maybe I will. But for now, I don't really. I know they're supposed to update the stuff on it a little bit better. I think you're supposed to be able to hit that to kind of go into live streaming, I think, if you want, or to record longer clips to put on your social media if you want. So that'll be neat. That'll be neat if they do that. That'll be great. Issues with the Xbox Series X. I haven't really had any real issues with it. When I first hooked it up, I downloaded Planet Coaster. Was one of the first games I downloaded. I was just looking for games that were optimized for the Series X. When you're on Game Pass, you have all the different games, and just on the store too. They'll have an XS on the picture of it to let you know that it's been optimized for the Series X or S. And Planet Coaster I had on the PC, and I used to play it here and there a little bit. I used to love Roller Coaster Tycoon back in the day. The first one, the second one, the third one even I got into when it got more really 3D. But yeah, I used to play the hell out of some Roller Coaster Tycoon. Planet Coaster, also very fun game. I wanted to see what it looked like on the console. Looks fantastic. The only issue I had was a couple of times it froze up on me, and I had to restart the system. But I'm pretty sure it's because I was downloading the game at the time. Now, you know how it is when you're downloading the game, after it hits a certain point, it'll let you go ahead and start playing the game. It'll say it's ready to play. I think what it is because that game is originally made, when they designed the game, it's optimized for X and S, but when they designed it, it was designed for the Xbox One. Like a lot of people don't know this, but almost all the game, even the newer ones, Valhalla, was basically made for the Xbox One. They did not have the dev kit for the Xbox Series X until very late in the game, whereas the PlayStation 5, they had the dev kit for a year to work with. But for the Xbox Series X and S, they didn't have it. So they were designing it on the software for the Xbox One and for PC. And so it's not quite optimized properly. It's not as good as it could be. I think that's where a lot of people are seeing the slight differences between that and the PS5. They should be playing, about the same, really. But in some games they're not. But down the road, we'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with that when they start using the full capacity of the Xbox Series X. But yeah, I think what happened was as I was playing Planet Coaster, it caught up. It was catching up to it caught up to the download quick because the games download pretty quick on this system, and I think what happened was it was catching up to it, and then it would just freeze up. That might be what was happening to it. I'm not positive. But once everything was done and downloaded, and any game that I've downloaded since then, I haven't had any issue at all with any freezing up or anything like that. I've had no issues really at all. Super quiet system, very quiet. Um, I have it in my console. I've got a pretty good amount of space between the front and the back of it. I had to sit it on its side. It just barely fits in there. I do have a wider shelf in the middle. I'm probably going to move it to there. In fact, if I could figure out how to take the middle shelf out, it's actually bolted in on my console. If I can take it out, I can stand it up right in the center. And I think that's what I'm going to end up trying to do down the road, because I think I'd rather have it standing on its end. It just doesn't look great with that. I don't know why they didn't make it to where you can remove the stand. I know seeing the system being taken apart, the stand actually has bolts through it that holds everything in this. Everything is bolted to the bottom through the stand. So if you take that off, you're taking the bolts out. Everything comes loose inside the system. I wish they would have made it to where it could come off. I don't know why they didn't do that. They could have easily done that, but they didn't do it. I mean, they designed the system to sit on its side as well. They put the little rubber feet on there, but they didn't design it to take the stand off the bottom. And I just don't understand that. Also, my thoughts on the Xbox Series S. I think if you can buy one, I think you should. And I think you should leave it in a box and put it in a vacuum bag and stick that sucker away, because I almost guarantee you that they will stop making this system in a short amount of time. It'll be a system that didn't have a lot of them made. Because, mark my words, within a year's time, this time next year, they will release an Xbox Series X discless system. And they will mark it down to $400, just like the PS5. They will have the regular system, and then they will have the discless system. In fact, they might even stop making the system with a disc in it down the road. I can't imagine that if there is another console that comes out in the future, that it will have a disc drive in it. I'm betting you that it won't. They're trying to go away from discs. Everything is just download. I rarely buy discs. If I have a disc, it's usually something someone else bought for me. To me, it's just, when you have, all right, the systems are getting to be all about convenience now. You got wireless controllers. You control everything in your house by voice. It's about convenience. When you buy discs, you still got, if you want to switch out to play a different game, you still got to get up and go over to your console, take it out, put another game in. Now, if you're taking advantage of the instant restart of the games that the Xbox Series X has, and S, I think the S has it. It doesn't make much sense if you got to get up and go put a disc in, right? So if you got a couple of games going, and you want to switch back from one and then go back to the other, the only way you can do that is if it's digitally downloaded on your system. Because if you're going to switch back, you got to go move out the discs. So it doesn't make any that whole part of the system doesn't make any sense. I love the no loading times. It is amazing. It's amazing. Sometimes you almost wish there was a little loading time. You might be trying to do something real quick and the game's already going. You're like, oh, I gotta get back into it. The no loading time is a game changer. It is fantastic. And if you don't have a TV that can run 4K, 120 frames per second, or at least 4K, 60 frames per second, an HDR TV, it's still almost worth getting it just for that, just for the fact that there's no load times anymore. I mean, they're basically gone, at least on these older. Now, I'm sure as we move into the system down the road and newer, bigger, more beautiful games are coming out, you're going to start seeing some load times creep back up again. But probably still nothing like what you've seen in the past. So, anyways, that is my thoughts on the Xbox Series X. Like I said, I don't think they're going to make the S for that long. I think they're going to stop making it probably after a year. I don't think it's going to be continued to be made. I think it's just going to fall behind because it's when you're buying into the new system, you want the most powerful system. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, when it comes right down to it, you want the most powerful system that runs the best. It's going to run these amazing games coming down the road, and I think the Series S might struggle a little bit with that. They're going to be designing these games for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. And if you want the best gaming experience, you're going to want to get the Series X or the PS5. And I think the Series S is going to fall. I'm not hating on the Series S. I just don't think they're going to continue to make it. I think they had so many sales of them right now because people couldn't get the X. I've seen several people go, I couldn't get the X, and I threw the S in and I was able to get it. So they wanted the X. They had to settle for the S. And they're probably going to kick themselves. But maybe not. Like I said, a system like this, if they stop making it after a year and there's a limited supply of it, down the road, people are going to be like, oh man, I want to get that S for the collectability of it. So, like I said, if you can get one, just leave it boxed up and pack it away somewhere. It might be a good investment. But that's my thoughts on the Xbox Series X and the controller. Can't wait for some actual new games to come out for the system. I think this is the first time I ever bought a brand new system and didn't have new games to play on it. But like I said, I held out on some games. I am playing some games I haven't played before on it that are optimized for it. And they're absolutely beautiful. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. But anyways, that's my feelings on the Xbox Series X. I appreciate you watching. Thanks for stopping by. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, like I said before. Hit the subscribe button right down here. Ring the notification bell. And I'll see you next time. I'm Chewy Solo, and this is Black and Red. See ya!